In today's video, we're going to be going over the current conditions. We have a massive update in the severe weather department with multiple days of major severe weather possible. And we're also just going to be going over the overall upcoming pattern. Now, first things first, let's get straight into those current conditions. And as you can see, we do have quite a bit going on, especially here on the eastern end of things. But the west is having some pretty decent storminess going on here as well for Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada. These states are having some form of precipitation take place. We also have our cold front region here that is bringing some storminess to a lot of different states there underneath our low pressure system, which is now about here. Very interesting low that we've seen. Kind of a cold front through here, a bit of a cold front. It's really not that strong. We're not going to see that much colder conditions move through behind it. But it is bringing that storminess along it. As you can see, some of the worst storms in the nation right now are along this area here. That is actually going to continue to move eastward through the day. So I have taken a look at that taking place. And then we're going to see our next storm kind of develop. And we're not going to see any breaks in the storminess, okay? We're going to see severe weather every single day. And the upcoming pattern just looks crazy overall, I would say. Now let's go ahead and zoom in to the northwest like we always do. We're going to take just a larger view here because really this is all just some light to moderate showers going on for all of these states. The heaviest pocket of this precipitation, I would say, is here in southern Idaho and northern Utah. That's where we're seeing some of the more moderate to heavier rainfall take place. There is some snowfall in the highest of elevations for these regions, but really it is mostly a rain event. It is a warmer event here than what we've typically been seeing. Now, as we take a look at this kind of low pressure center here, we can see the rotation first off. You can see if you watch the actual radar imagery here, we could tell that the low is somewhere near Minneapolis, just to the east of Minneapolis there. And this is, again, near the low is featuring very widespread rainfalls we can see, but it is more light to moderate in nature. This is pretty typical for nearby a low pressure system. It's always going to be near this frontal boundary here where we see the heavier precipitation, and we see quite a bit of that actually from Michigan and Ohio here. Probably thunderstorms ongoing for Ohio and Pennsylvania. Let us know if you're seeing thunderstorms this morning, but quite a bit for West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Ohio there, where obviously things are more moderate to heavy there as far as the intensity is concerned. Isolated and scattered thunderstorms throughout here most likely. And then as we head further south to Kentucky, we saw this more, I would say more multicellular thunderstorm taking place here through Kentucky. Pretty intense precipitation in a pretty large pocket of thunderstorm activity actually, which is fairly interesting as well. Now just to the west here of our Appalachian, or better yet, our Smoky Mountains here, we can see that there is some thunderstorms building in for Cleveland, Tennessee, and also Knoxville, Tennessee there. Let's continue to move further southward here. We can see for northern Alabama and northern Mississippi, we do see this heavier pocket of thunderstorms taking place here as well. We have had some severe thunderstorm warnings along that, and this is going to be heading towards the Birmingham area as we approach kind of the early to mid-morning here, 8, 9, 10 a.m. time frame. Now, as we move further south towards the Gulf here, we can see for southern Mississippi, even down in through Louisiana, we've seen quite intense thunderstorms down here as well, especially here near the Louisiana and Mississippi border. I've even seen some pinks showing up in there, which is indicating very heavy precipitation taking place. We see some of that popping up in the earlier portion of this storm. Let's see. Yeah, we see some purple show up in here. Let's just watch it take place. Yeah, so we've seen a few pockets of that taking place, which is quite intense. Also, here for southeastern Virginia, we have had some showers taking place. These are, again, light to moderate. And those were taking place earlier this morning here for southeastern Virginia, northeastern North Carolina there. And these have basically moved offshore. So by the time you're reaching, well, there won't be really a morning commute today, but by the time you're reaching about early mid-morning, these should have moved out fully. New England was seeing a few rain showers. And let's see. Yeah, and for the third or fourth day in a row, we do have some isolated showers and thunderstorms moving across the state of Florida, which is a pretty typical event that takes place fairly often. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to break down that upcoming pattern, okay? There's some pretty big changes, a lot more precipitation reaching the East Coast just to give you guys a little sneak peek. And then we're going to be breaking down that upcoming severe weather where, again, there's been some massive updates. Things are looking a little bit more major than before, and we're looking at more days than we were before as well. So everything's looking a lot more intense as of today, so we have a ton to break down. Now here we are taking a look at the upcoming pattern, and as you can see, we have a 998 millibar low pressure center there with the precipitation diving down. We have the storminess up here, so everything is looking how it's looking basically. Now this cold front, kind of cold front, is going to dip down, and it's going to reach the East Coast by the time I reach this evening. This is 2 p.m., but as we approach even later than 2 p.m., we will start to see that storminess reach the eastern seaboard here. So for a lot of these regions, we will see that storminess move in. We already see our next low developing in here, though, in 997, and this is by the time we're reaching about 11 p.m. tonight. So that storm is going to really just weaken. So it's going to move up into Canada and weaken, and we're going to see the next one right behind it already by the time we're reaching this evening, later this evening. So very, very crazy stuff. And then we see this really take off. Look, this is by the time we're reaching about 11 a.m. tomorrow on Monday, May 2nd. And we see this low is really taking off. We see snowfall here for Colorado, Wyoming, and Nebraska, and potentially severe weather here to the southeast of that low pressure system. By the time we reach about Tuesday afternoon, we see some of this storminess moving into these regions here. So that's going to be, again, Tuesday afternoon. We see our next storm developing there with some snowfall. And look, that low dives down, and we already have our third storm taking place. A lot of storminess there, some snowfall here for Colorado and Wyoming. The second storm is just now getting its precipitation to the East Coast. Thunderstorms for a lot of people. And then by the time we're reaching about Thursday evening, we see quite a bit of intense-looking storminess going on there at about 3 p.m. on Thursday, May 5th. As we continue this on, this reaches the East Coast by the time we're reaching about Saturday morning, May 7th. So we're seeing some of this reach into the eastern United States. Is the third storm in the model run. And then we get our fourth one that develops here on May 10th. We get storminess in here. We see a lot of snowfall here for the Rockies. Quite intense pattern, like I mentioned. And that one does something weird. It kind of just moves north and then even like curves almost to the northwest here. I'm kind of doubtful that that will happen. Take that with a grain of salt. I would expect everything to continue to move generally eastward as they have for months and months and months. And 9 times out of 10, they move in that direction either way. All right, so let's go ahead and break down the total precipitation real quickly. And here it is. And we see these reds reach way further into the eastern United States than we saw even just as of yesterday. And that's because these storms continue to move through and move down into this. Well, really they do this actually, but we see those storminess underneath it move into these regions. That's kind of what we're taking a look at here. We see still a ton for these regions here as well. If you're anywhere in the grays, you're going to be under 0.1 inches of rainfall. If you're anywhere in the whites, you're expecting basically none. If you're anywhere in the greens, you're going to be at 0.1 to 0.5 inches of rainfall. Blues are going to be half an inch to an inch of rainfall. Yellows are going to be an inch to 2 inches. Reds are going to be 2 to 5 inches of rainfall. And then your brown colors, which we see some of this here for the mid-Atlantic here. And then we see some of it for the central United States here. And then we see some of it also for the Pacific Northwest. So that's the 3 regions where we see this highest color table here, and that's going to be for the 5 to 10 inches of rainfall over the next 10 days. As you could see, it's hours 240, obviously 24 hours in a day, 24 times 10, that gives us 10 days here. So this is going to end us at around about 8 p.m. on May 10th. That's where this model run ends. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the total snowfall real quickly. And as you can see, just like I mentioned, this is going to be really lightening up in these regions, the lower elevation regions. We're going to see the snowfall really just go away until, this later in this fall. We do see quite a bit of snowfall expected still for the west, but over the course of the next month, we're really going to see this subside a lot too, to basically nothing. If anywhere in the grays, you're expecting a dusting, if anything. Blues will be 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purples will be 6 to 10. Pinks will be 10 to 20. Pastels will be 20 to even 48 inches plus. And we do see quite a bit of that for the highest elevation regions of the Rockies and the Cascades. So that is an indication that we're going to see very, very heavy snowfall. All right. Now, let's go ahead and move on, and we're going to talk about that upcoming temperature pattern, and then quickly after that, we're going to break down all of the Storm Prediction Center updates, and there is a lot of them. Here is our upcoming temperature pattern, and really because of the storminess, we're going to see this region primarily cold. So whether that's because of an Arctic air mass or not, we see that the storminess does bring these colder conditions with it in here. May 4th, here we are looking at a lot of warmth here in the southeast and the Gulf states, with cold in between, as you can see right up there. And as we continue this on, we can see Thursday, May 5th, we do see a bit of a southeast ridge still. Let's see, Friday, May 6th, we do see some warmth in the area, but this is when the storminess is moving in, and there's a lot of cold air that comes with that storminess. Obviously, if it's cloudy and rainy, it's harder for things to be warmer. So keep that in mind as well, because the sun can't get through the clouds, and also the precipitation just dampens everything. There's multiple reasons for that. By the time we're reaching Sunday, May 8th, we reach something pretty interesting where we have cold on both sides and then kind of warmth in between. That's pretty interesting there. Now, Monday, it's going to be Monday, May 9th. We have a lot of cold air here. Again, mostly associated with that storminess. We have a lot of cold in the west as well. And generally, I think after May 5th, we're going to see the warm trending towards the east. So regardless of what this model is showing, we do see that the pattern does look a lot more like a ridge in the east and a trough in the west is generally what I'm picking up here. I think there's a lot of dynamic cooling happening in here with the precipitation that is coming down. So that doesn't have to do with an air mass. That's mostly to do with actually the storminess that is ongoing. So that's basically the upcoming temperature pattern. I know things are pretty confusing and there's not really a clear direction of the pattern. But I think as we go through the next few days, things are going to really clear up. That's what I've noticed happens oftentimes. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on and talk about that Storm Prediction Center. Now, here we are taking a look at the categorical outlook, okay? And let's just break this down. Lighter green is going to be your general thunderstorm risk, so we see a lot of this for pretty much many different regions. And that's where we expect general thunderstorms, not severe weather. But nothing can be ruled out, so heed all those watches, warnings, and advisories there. Anywhere in the 2 darker green regions, that's our marginal risk, and that's where we expect isolated severe weather to take place. So you're going to want to be on the watch out for that. The yellow areas, we have 2 of those again, one there for the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic, and then one there for the South Central United States. That is where we expect scattered severe weather, and you're going to want to watch all those warnings, watches, and advisories as always. The enhanced area is that orange area there in Texas and New Mexico, and that's where we expect widespread severe weather to take place. And there's even room for a moderate in there, in my opinion. So pretty big severe weather day on the way. Let's go ahead and break down those individual outlooks. This is all based on 25 miles of a given location, but we have 2 5% chance areas of damaging wind, and that's going to be for, again, the South Central and then the kind of Mid-Atlantic area. And then we have the 2 yellow areas, which indicates 15% chance of damaging wind. Again, all within 25 miles of a given location. Hail here is a little bit more concerning. We have the 2 green regions, which is 5%. We have the 2 yellow areas, which is 15% again. But we also have a 30% area there, now indicated in that red in the South Central United States, which indicates 30% chance of hail taking place. And we also have that significant hatched area there, the black hatched area that we see in Texas, New Mexico, a little bit of Oklahoma and Colorado as well. That is indicating 2-inch diameter or larger hail is going to be possible, which is very, very concerning, and that's obviously damaging hail. So the indication is that there could be very, very large hail. Now for the day, or better yet, we still have to go over the tornado outlook here. We have a 2% chance of tornadoes there within the 2 green regions, and then our brown region there is going to be a 5% chance of tornadoes. So a little bit of an elevated there tornado outlook. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, obviously. We move into day 2, though, and we still have a huge general thunderstorm risk area, again, where general thunderstorms are expected, but nothing can be ruled out, so you're going to want to heed all the watches, warnings, and advisories. Even if you're in the white region, you're going to want to still heed all those watches, warnings, and advisories. We see our darker green region there for the central United States. That's going to be our marginal risk area, again, where isolated severe weather is expected. Yellow area, again, is where we have a slight risk of severe weather, and that's where we expect scattered severe weather to take place. And then our orange area there for Oklahoma and Kansas is our enhanced area, and that's where we expect widespread severe weather to take place. So we're going to break down the individual outlooks again. By the way, the day 1 outlook was for Sunday, today, from the time I'm making this video, May 1st. And this one we're looking at right now is for Monday, May 2nd, tomorrow from the time I'm making this video. For the damaging wind outlook, we have a 5% chance again there in the green region, and again a 15% chance area in that yellow region. But just like the day before, things look pretty intense. Let's move on to the hail outlook here because we have a 5% chance there in the green, 15% chance there in the yellow, and then a 30% chance there in the red for Oklahoma and Kansas. And again, for the second day in a row, we have that hatched area for hail, indicating 2-inch diameter or larger hail is possible to take place. Then for the tornado outlook, this is looking fairly elevated. I'm pretty concerned about this as well. We have a 2% chance there in the green, a 5% chance there in the brown, and then a 10% chance there in the yellow, with that hatched area indicating EF3, 4, and 5 tornadoes will be possible, unfortunately. So the indication is that for Monday, there is a very clear possibility that large tornadoes could be supported from the pattern. That's not to say that for day one, again, today on Sunday, large tornadoes can be ruled out, but it's looking more possible on day two. It's looking more likely. Just the conditions are there. These can happen all the time. Large tornadoes, they're highly unpredictable, as we all know. But when the clear indication is there that the pattern and overall just the conditions are very, very supportive of a large tornado, you always want to pay attention to that because it's always concerning to see. Now for day three, we have another huge general thunderstorm risk there for the entire eastern United States. We also have a marginal risk there for a lot of the Ohio Valley and even in through a little bit of the plains. And then we have a yellow area there. That's our slight risk, and that's where we expect scattered severe weather to take place for Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and maybe even a little bit of Ohio there on day three. Now we even have a day 4 outlook, and again, we're kind of concerned about the same regions here. This is going to be for Wednesday, May 4th. And we have a 15% chance of severe weather there in the yellow area, and that's Dallas-Fort Worth. We see also Oklahoma City in there. And that's where we expect at least a slight risk there for Wednesday, May 4th. And then our orange area there that takes up a lot of south-central Oklahoma and north-central Texas, that is going to be our 30% chance region, and that's where we at least expect an enhanced risk to take place here on Wednesday, May 4th. So another very elevated day expected on Wednesday, May 4th. Now, for day 5, which is going to be Thursday, May 5th, we expect at least a slight risk there for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Kentucky, Illinois, and a bit of Missouri there as well. And again, that yellow area is a 15% chance region, and that's where we expect at least a slight risk, unfortunately. All right, now that was a lot to go over, but for today's confidence tab, we're once again at a 5 out of 6. I feel like we've moved really close to these events, and I feel very confident in basically most of the things we talked about today. For today's patron highlighted today, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bo Crates, James Wade, Dovin Eagle, Larry LePan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Cuddalessa, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Khaleesi also. I'd also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Steven Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.